Yeah, I'm Chris Rappley. I'm the co-founder and CEO of allsportsmarket.com.
All right, Chris, and it's Super Bowl week now. Falcons and Patriots will be playing over the weekend, and you guys will be hosting another event in Hollywood to celebrate it and also celebrate All Sports Market. But before we talk about that particular event, I wanted to ask you what has been new with All Sports Market since the launch, and has there been any change with respect to the educational platform that you guys want to see implemented soon?
Yeah, since the last time we spoke, which I think was the first party, is that right? Back in March.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so we've put up all four of the big leagues on the real money market. We have the four major leagues plus the two college leagues on the real money market and the learning side of the market, both. The college teams are not on the real money side. We've done a lot of development work on basically the foundation of the educational program, how it's going to work. We recruited Clipper Darrell to help us out with that. He's got connections to the LA schools and teaches journalism there. So he's kind of going to be our introduction to the school system here. We want to give away, well, it's free, it doesn't cost anything, encourage the use of the educational side of the market to teach kids finance, basically to get their interest in finance, because they're already interested in sports and they're obviously already interested in money. So that combination creates a natural attraction, and we think that this will be a great learning tool for to generate math interest, and especially in complex concepts like um, finance, markets, and so forth.
So what's been the biggest roadblock in all of that? Would it be getting people like Clipper Darrell with the connections, or would you say actually once you have those connections, building that bridge with the students?
It's in the very early stages right now. We haven't. I mean, we literally just built the core curriculum, what we're trying to do, and we haven't presented it to anybody in the school system yet. So I can't speak to the difficulties there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at this point, it's really all been focused on infrastructure, basically getting all the market mechanics and all the machinery working correctly. That's where our focus has been. Not so much recruiting and such is not so difficult. It's an idea that pretty well sells itself once you explain it.
And what was the biggest drive for you guys wanting to reach out to the youth? Was it more of just ensuring that they get informed about the stock market? Was it trying to get them involved with sports right away, or what was it behind that?
Well, it's mainly social improvement. I mean, math is the core of everything. Money is math, and you have to deal with money every day of your life, no matter what your perspective is on it. So our motivation is to create basically a better society by creating more interest in math without forcing it, by teaching problems on a blackboard. If they learn these complex finance concepts through a market structure, it will improve their quality of life, basically, through their whole life, if they get those foundational things in when they're young.
And then I also wanted to ask you, you mentioned that you now have college teams or college programs available on the All Sports Market network. What kind of things did you guys have to go through to get college teams on there as opposed to getting the professional teams up?
Well, because we're a nonprofit structured as a nonprofit, we're allowed to legally use their names and likenesses without breaking the law. It's called fair use, and it's a special category when you're an educational nonprofit. So we don't need their permission to use their logos. And the college teams are not trading on the real money side; they're just trading on the free money side, the learning side of the market.
And do you see it expanding past any of the leagues that you guys currently have, or is everything almost, I would say, set just for long-term investments?
I don't think we're going to move outside of the big four and the two college basketball and football in the near future. We've got a lot of other work that needs to happen before we expand the inventory beyond that. what we learned from our prior experiences, you need to be careful about how much inventory you have in the market, and
Hmm.
having all the four major, having the four majors and the two colleges is a lot of stock symbols.
Right.
So, like I think it's 600 and something right now. So that's enough for now. We have other things we need to tend to before we look at league expansions and such.
And then turning to the Super Bowl event that you guys are going to be putting on over the weekend coming up. What was the idea behind that? Was it sort of to help your reach to people in Hollywood because of events that you've had before that have had a lot of success?
Yeah, it definitely helps get the word out. Obviously this is a second largest market, so any story that gets picked up here or anything that happens here has a much higher chance of not just getting covered here, but getting covered nationally. We've had that happen a few times.
Right.
So it is, yeah, it is to expose the concept. This is the third party in a year, basically. The first one was back in March 2016. That allow networking, in the room, everybody, it's an opportunity for people to network and such, which we're happy to offer, to showcase progress. We're going to be releasing new apps and upgrade to the website. This educational program is really getting its start, and we're going to be announcing the first time we're going to be selling our stock to the public. So that's kind of the three main things: the technology, the education, and the really exposing our company ownership through stock purchase, through crowdfunding, the new rule changes. That's kind of the three big markers for this.
And when you say moving towards an app, how is that going to work as opposed to when people use the stock market that you guys have on a computer or a desktop?
It's just a app version of that. Allow them to use the both. Right now, we only have the app for the free side of the market,
Hmm.
and it's only on iOS. This app is going to be Android and iOS, and it's going to cover both the real money side and the free side, but kind of a shrunken down version of the website version.
Do you, after the Super Bowl party, do you guys have any vision for future events in Hollywood or other places?
I expect we will do this again, but no particular details at this point for another event. But I would imagine yes.
And then you had mentioned Clipper Darrell at the beginning of the interview. Have you gotten any other celebrity endorsements or any other help from that side of the market?
From the sports side
Mhm.
specifically, no, not a direct connection other than him and Bernie Nichols. Those are the two on the sports side at this point, officially.
And outside of sports, anything?
Well, Zach's ongoing participation, Zach Ward. No direct ties other than that. I mean, occasional photo ops and stuff with various people, but I wouldn't count that as promotion.
And then for 2017, maybe if you could paint maybe with a broad brush. I know this is a big question for a year that just is a month in, but for 2017, when it's all said and done in December, where do you want to see all sports market grow, and why?
For 2017, I think the major uh, wins would be successfully putting out the public crowdfunding round or rounds. So increasing our financial base because we've got some more expensive phases coming up. So we need better financing in place. That would be a huge win, and we're on the track to doing that. Market wise, I don't have any specific growth numbers in terms of users. We have about 4,500 users right now. I'm more focused on just getting the concept out there as much as possible through interviews and such, and working out the regulation side to basically move it from where it is now in the nonprofit structure to a fully regulated stock market on the profit company like the New York Stock Exchange. So
And
that's where all the
so,
focus will be.
right. And so when you say that you'll be selling stock to the public for the first time, does that mean through the stock exchange, or how will that work?
We're going to be using WeFunder. It's the largest crowdfunding website that's been set up for that particular structure.
Mhm. And last question would be, given all these events in Hollywood, right? You've had a couple of opening bell ceremonies or updates, and now the Super Bowl party. But what would be the biggest thing outside of obviously getting your name out there? But what's been the biggest improvement you've personally seen through pushing the expansion of all sports market? Is it your knowledge of how the stock market works growing? Is it the connections that you're personally making, or what would it be for you?
What have what have I realized through this process
Yeah.
personally?
Hmm.
The extraordinary reach of having a presence and having connections in Hollywood. What that more than the technology, all the rest of this stuff is pretty known. But how powerful the media presence and having a connection to the sports and entertainment community here are, and what it does for the business. Definitely.
Well, Chris, thank you so much, for taking the time to join me this morning. It's always good to talk to you guys, and we look forward to hearing from you guys more soon.
Okay. And see you on Sunday.
Absolutely.